Okay, so part 3. So this second sheepfold, okay? So when Yeshua is speaking to Peter and he says, "Do you love me?" "Yes, Lord." "Feed my lambs." "Do you love me?" "Yes, Lord." "Feed my lambs." "Peter, do you love me?" Yes, Lord. "Feed my sheep." And then Peter writes 1st and 2nd Peter, and he addresses it, first of all, he addresses it to the elect. I might not get the exact wording right on this, but it's the elect church in Babylon. Okay, well, at the time of Peter writing that, Babylon, the empire, had fallen 500 years prior. So who's this elect church gathered together in Babylon that he's speaking to? Well, it's the second sheepfold. It's the lost sheep of the house of Israel, who are either literally in Mystery Babylon, USA, or they are in a world in which Mystery Babylon has scattered its fornication and its abominations to the four corners of the world. You know, I don't live in America, which is Mystery Babylon, but I live in a country that is heavily influenced by Mystery Babylon. Okay? So it's more or less one and the same. So he's writing to the second sheepfold. Okay? So there is a second sheepfold that is going to be gathered up. And guess what? There's only 12 gates into the kingdom of heaven. Okay, so even this second sheepfold, yes, the scriptures explain that they are Gentiles, but they don't remain Gentiles. They come from the seed of Gentiles, or, the land of Gentiles. They come from the traditions of Gentiles, but they're not they don't remain spiritual Gentiles, because you can't enter the kingdom of heaven as a Gentile. You have to be grafted into Israel. And the way that you do that is by circumcising your heart. It's a circumcision not made with hands. It's a circumcision of the heart. And that is listening to that spirit of conviction, that spirit of grace, and starting to obey the 10 Commandments. That's how you enter into covenant with God. That's how you get grafted into Israel. Very, very, very important that people understand this. Okay? It's like the Christians don't understand this. They still think that they're Gentiles. Oh, I don't have to keep the 10 Commandments. That's for the Jews. What an ignorant statement to make. Like, really, you just don't understand the Bible at all if you say that. Okay, the 10 Commandments wasn't given to the Jews. It was given to Israel. The Jews are those of the southern kingdom of Judah. That's where the word even comes from. Okay, so the 10 Commandments was given to Israel. And God said, if you keep this covenant, you will be my people and I will be your God. So guess what? If you don't keep the covenant, you're not his people. He's not your God. And Ephesians 2 explains this again. Okay? That remember when you were a Gentile, and then he explains what it was like when they were Gentiles. Without God, without the Messiah, without hope. Strangers from the covenants of promise, aliens from the commonwealth of Israel. You don't want to be a Gentile. Now on the other side, you've got those of the southern kingdom of Judah who are stealing the inheritance from the northern kingdom of Israel. Okay? Because these people of Judah who, just like every other major establishment in the world, these are the guys running them. They run the churches. And they've sold you this lie and convinced you that salvation coming to the Gentiles means without them changing. You know, oh, the Gentiles just have to believe that Jesus existed and they're saved. No, that is not what salvation coming to the Gentiles means. Not at all. Salvation coming to the Gentiles means that now the Gentiles can also, if they obey the Holy Covenant, can be grafted into Israel and can be saved. That's how salvation comes to the Gentiles. Right? So, those of the southern kingdom of Judah, they are in the process of stealing the inheritance from the northern kingdom of Israel. Okay? Very, very bad. Right? And then, in the middle of all of that, in the Torah movement, it's a mix. You know? It's a total mix. Some people think that they're literal descendants of Jacob and they're all puffed up on that. Oh, I'm of this tribe and I know that for a certainty. You know, and then they like look down their nose at people who don't know what tribe they are. Oh, you must just be a Gentile. Yeah, you can enter the kingdom. It's just you're going to be my slave. That's the kind of heart condition that these people have. But then there's others who, you know, they just don't understand. They still have the same understand that the Christians have, you know. So I think this is such a huge topic. There's probably a lot that I haven't touched on that I could touch on. A lot of really great scriptures that I could go over and explain in depth. But these videos in the car is more so just me thinking out loud. So, yeah, there's probably tons of scripture that I should have read, but I'm driving, so obviously I can't. So, yeah, you got to understand this, you know, how can you possibly be proclaiming a gospel that you don't even really understand? And if you think that salvation comes to Gentiles with them remaining Gentiles and, you know, still doing Christmas and Easter, not keeping the Sabbath, you know, all like not keeping the covenants, not eating clean, salvation will not come